Hello everyone, today we're going to see what would happen if the Cold War became hot. What does that mean? Well, we're going to be starting off here in Cuba in the year 1962. The Soviet Union has been planting missile-like sites inside of Cuba, getting ready to shoot up and bomb the United States whenever they need to. The United States finds out, and in this scenario, the United States declares war on Russia. The Soviet Union, causing the Cold War to become hot. Since the United States was the one to actually declare war on Russia and Cuba, they will be red, Cuba will be green, and the Soviet Union will be blue. Immediately, the U.S. will block the... what? Okay, sorry. The U.S. blockade escalates to airstrikes on missile sites. Cuba mobilizes troops with Soviet support, and the Soviet Union will retaliate with missiles aimed at U.S. cities. We're now entering Phase 1. Inside of Phase 1, it will be mostly in the Caribbean. The U.S. launches airstrikes and amphibious landings, and the Soviets will send naval support, and we'll see some small-scale confrontations inside of Caribbean waters. However, no one has actually landed on anyone else's land just yet, so there's nothing I can really show you. But NATO's on high alert. In Phase 2, we're going to be fighting in Europe. In this case, West Germany is NATO territory, and East Germany is Warsaw Pact territory. And NATO goes from high alert to active war, moving. They're all mobilized now. And the Warsaw Pact does the same. Troops already stationed in Europe are told to move now. The border between them becomes the hottest, what does that mean? The hottest, tensionist place, if that makes sense. This is where tanks move, bombers fly, cities get hits, and millions of soldiers will collide from either side. And this is not because Germany started it, it's because the soldiers are already there, and this is where they're going to be fighting. Here's what it looks like. The Warsaw Pact pushes west. They're trying to overwhelm NATO quickly, and along all of their borders do they push in. NATO tries to hold the line using air power and defenses, and there's heavy losses on both sides. There's no nukes yet, but everyone's preparing them. France and UK are on this side, just by the way, and they will reinforce NATO positions. The Eastern Bloc countries don't wander off, and they support the push into West Germany, they will defend the supply routes into West Germany for the soldiers. So just by doing it like this, Europe doesn't explode immediately once again only 20 years later, turning it into another world war. Instead, all the firepower just funnels into Germany, West Germany and East Germany. With the US and the USSR officially at war, Europe becomes the main battlefield for this war. NATO and the Warsaw Pact activate their war plans. Fighting, is breaking out once again along here, and there's no pushing back yet. It's just a frozen front line. It's a stalemate right now. Both sides are preparing tactical nuclear weapons, especially in Europe. Asia destabilizes. We see Vietnam intensify. In this, in 1962, we have Republic of Vietnam and Vietnam. I'm pretty sure this one's Vietnam and this one's Republic of Vietnam. I'm pretty sure that's how it is. But these two intensify once again. China considers intervening if the USSR intensifies, and naval warfare advances into a bit of the Pacific, but mostly a little bit of the Atlantic, but mostly the Pacific. There's still a massive naval blockade by the USSR, right along here, just like this, just blockading it, and then, it looks like this a little bit, with the white being USA, and it's just it's like that, basically. But after that, finally, Cuba will break. Cuba is devastated by continued bombing and invasion attempts, and the Soviets attempt to secretly reposition the missile assets. Latin America nations choose sides or declare neutrality. We're going to see Mexico join the side of the United States, and that would allow an easy attack from the bottom here, just like this, which the USSR is not defending so well. They're only doing a bit of this just to make sure that, United States doesn't do anything. But the only problem is the USSR accidentally exploded a few ports right along this coastline here. And after these ports got exploded, Mexico told the United States they were declaring war on the Soviets, and they start moving their needs into this area. And also, they're moving around here in the ports that still exist to go attack from the south. So now, just like that, we have the invasion of Cuba happening from the south. I'm not exactly sure where their border is, where their capital is. I'm going to have to look at that. So their capital is right here. We're going to see them push through here, and that will allow for the United States to easily break through the Soviet, thing there, and they're going to be able to break through it and finally reach inside of here and start attacking. And just like that, we have two little attacks here, and their first thing that they do is they try and get rid of the bombs, the missile sites. But now that the Soviets here have arrived, we're going to see them start pushing back against Mexico, and they get kicked off of Cuba almost entirely, only holding out just a little bit in this little shore right here. And this is a pretty deadly battle right here. Not D-Day equivalent, but close. But the United States, they're going to have to push in through here, and they try and create a little spearhead going towards here to split Cuba in two, which is successful, but only towards the end and after a bit of heavy losses. After Cuba is split in two, there's a bit of divergence. The Soviets are going to split in two just a little bit and have some go over here, some go over here, some stay over here. So that will allow Mexico to be able to push back in. They're also going to make another naval landing down in the south here to get rid of more bombings, and they're going to form a pretty good spearhead to go up here, splitting Cuba into three. Mexico is going to try and reach up towards the United States, which they do, cutting them into another two pieces, making Cuba split into four. This entire part over here will just fall over it will just capitulate right here. And the United States and Mexico will continue pushing in through here. And over here, we're going to see Mexicans get pushed all the way back out of Cuba territory. And we see naval battles happen over here between the two sides. After long anticipation, the capital is captured, and the rest of the country will slowly but surely fall, starting with this island here, and then continuing with the eastern side as they blitz through here, and they'll go through these areas and just blitz. But the island is blitzed down. They reach down to the southern area, and the Soviets abandon Cuba, which is not, it's like down, it's not viewed so well, but they abandon Cuba, and after they abandon Cuba, Cuba will surrender over to these forces. However, just before Cuba surrenders, a missile is shot off into the sky. This missile flies from southern area here, and it goes through here above the Bahamas, and it will fly up north. It will just skip past Florida, and it will start curving a little bit, and it will start quickly approaching the capital. Now, the United States is very good, and they're able to, explode this missile into the air, which they try. The first time they miss, their missile that they're trying to get rid of, it just goes like that instead of going like that, which, it doesn't work. So it continues flying, and at the very little last second, it does hit. Their second missile that they shoot off hits, and there's an explosion outside of the capital, outside of the capital region, of course. The United States are going to use Alaska to push into this part of Russia. They're going to push in like this, and they're going to actually take over all this area because Russia wasn't really able to focus there so well. And they're going to just kind of explode over here. It's not going to be too much, but they're not going to make it so far, but they will make it into the place, and it's very, very cold up here. Over here, the Warsaw thing is winning, and they push down south a little bit, but that is once the rest of the troops finally arrive, they are able to push back. They push back very, very well, all the way back to the border, and we are at a near nuclear stalemate right now, just by the way. Finally, they break in, and they push in through here, and they quickly, they aren't able to break in anywhere else, but they were able to find a weak point right here, and they're going to flow in through this way, and they are going to just form a spearhead going all the way like this, and instead of focusing all their troops along the border, they're going to focus all their troops in one spot, and then have the defense on the other spots. So, what the blue side was doing, they were just focusing all their troops over here like this, along the border, just like that. However, on the red side, they're focusing their defense like this, and then their offense like this, because they knew that the weakest point was right here, so they would be able to easily have their offense go through this weakest point. So they're going to push up just like this, and they're going to capture Berlin. I'm not actually sure where Berlin is right now, but it's going to look like that. And this small part over here will fall, and they're going to continue pushing in through this way. And the rest of the country will slowly but surely fall. They're not going to surrender for some reason, but they will fall. And fall they do. After that, there is a bit of navy still up here, and they're just going to have to fight it back, which they do very well. And they make their way up through here, and they arrive in Kaliningrad. Inside of Kaliningrad, they're going to start attacking Kaliningrad, and they're going to first, just capture all of the, Baltic region. And they're just going to explore around that area, try and get it all back, which they do, and the Soviet Union is going to start pushing back. However, it is, once again, a stalemate after the borders look like this. And that's when the Soviets decide to do something that they haven't done yet, and it's not so good. They use a tactical nuke to allow them to get through here. They do one right here, and one right here. And these are 3 tactical nukes that have a good area, kind of like this. But the main impact is right here. And the radiation is what I just showed there. So we're going to see them push back in after that happens. And that's obviously not good. Just like that, they're able to push into where this area was. However, that will only make it so these parts that were, not getting pushed into once again, stronger, and they're able to push in through this, and this side up here will, not be able to. This side right there will just fall, kind of, and Estonia is captured back. That's pretty dang good, but there's an encirclement right here, which is not good for these guys, as they quickly, get pushed back in, and that's like hundreds, if not thousands, of troops, hundreds of thousands of troops, yeah. After that work, they try and do another campaign where they form another spearhead going like this, and it's pretty successful. However, there is water here, so they do escape. Most of them do. But then the rest get captured. They continue their blitz up through here, and they're going to go like this and capture over here in Finland, capturing the rest of the troops, and they're now prisoners of war. Next up, they're gonna work on freeing Belarus over here. I'm pretty sure they already did that. So it's gonna look like this just a little bit, and then they're going to move into Ukraine, but Ukraine is being defended pretty dang well. In the meantime, they're going to form a little bit of a spearhead towards the capital, but that is very unsuccessful, and they just get pushed back. This part right up here will blitz up towards here, and they will lay occupation over this area here. They're obviously not going to go into it, but they're going to lay occupation over it. The troops that are over here are finally ready to move in once again, and since there's no one here, they're able to easily just kind of push through pretty well. So their spearhead here is going to just push through here and kind of just block off the rest of this from the rest of the country, and they're going to work on capturing Montenegro. I think this is Montenegro here, but they do successfully capture Montenegro, and then they're going to go for whatever this island here is called, I can't remember, and they're going to capture that here. Yeah, it's not too bad, not too shabby if I do say so myself, and the rest of this will just go under U.S. occupation. They were only able to do this once the rest of the troops arrived, like the Mexican troops, so there were Mexicans here, there were also a bit of the Europeans. Speaking of the Europeans, they're going to continue, and they're going to push as far as they can into Ukraine, and they're going to free the western side of it. After that, they're going to push in through here. They're going to capture Lviv, wherever it is, somewhere here, and that's going to do really well here, and that's going to make the rest of this area kind of capitulate over to them. You would think that more countries than this would get involved, but I'm a little bit lazy, so not a lot of countries are going to get involved into this, okay? But they're going to continue pushing down this way, and they're going to free this region here. And why are the Soviets not pushing back? Well, that's because they're working on nukes, of course. Yeah. They're gonna fly into the Caspian, fly through the Caspian, and also send ships through the Caspian, and they're gonna work on freeing the Stan area. However, this Stan area is holding up very, very well, and they get pushed back. They get pushed back all the way over to here, and there's now water fights along this kind of way right there, against the Soviets. I mean, the United States seas, whatever's. So yeah, that's not good. Proxy wartime over here inside of Vietnam and Republic of Vietnam. This time China will not be involved, so that sucks for northern Vietnam. But northern Vietnam is going to push into southern Vietnam. Oh wait, no, I mean southern Vietnam is going to push into northern Vietnam because Russia can't really help so much with these proxies, and it's going to be very, very bad for this northern one. This northern one's Vietnam, the southern one's Republic of Vietnam, I think. But northern Vietnam is going to get a little bit of a backwards haircut, I guess. They dyed their hair blue, and their skin color is this pinkish, reddish thingy. Back up here, we're going to see everyone continue to push in through here, and this side will just get bigger and bigger and bigger, which will allow them to break through here, and then they will also start attacking them from the back, which will make the Stan Army fall, which will allow Stan Navy fall, which will allow them to push in through here just like this. They're going to successfully push in through here just like that, and it's going to go pretty well for them. They're going to form a spearhead going like that. And so far, the Soviet Union is very much so losing. They lost their proxy war down here. This proxy war, United States won because they were able to actually focus in on this. So yeah, sucks to suck, Soviet Union. You should have asked China to get involved with that proxy war, but it's too late because, well, all this is happening now. They're able to finally push in through here, and they're going to go capture Moscow, probably. I think they've already captured Moscow at this point here. So they've captured Moscow, but the Soviet Union is not going to surrender. They got St. Petersburg. Maybe they will surrender. These two islands should be captured. Oopsie daisy. I think they would surrender at this point. Yeah, they're going to surrender. Let's see what this looks like. We're going to do a really big peace treaty. So yeah. Okay, for our peace treaty, we have a lot of things happening all around the world. First of all, ignore Yemen. Okay, I had to kind of just reset the world, so we have a 2025 world map here, except I obviously did the peace treaty. But number one, we're going to start over here where it all started, in Cuba. They got a government change. Otherwise, nothing else happened, but now they have a government, left-leaning, America-leaning government. Moving on into Europe, East Germany is gone. There's some more stuff happening over there, but I'm going to get to it later. Vietnam is now only Vietnam, and the same thing. They got the same treatment as Cuba with a new government and America-leaning stuff. Yeah, there's more stuff soon. Okay, number one, all the stands were released. Number two, Kazakhstan doesn't exist. This could be Kazakhstan. But this, Uzbekistan, it doesn't stop like how it normally stops like that. Instead, it now goes all the way to the Caspian. Okay, now we're going to move on over to here. This country, I guess it's called Caucasia. It's basically Azerbaijan, Armenia, and Georgia in one country, except it's really big compared to what it used to be, which is kind of just like this or something. But now it's massive. We also have a northern country above it, which is just brand new. It's non-existent in the real world. I don't know what it would be called. Then we have Ukraine was released. They get a big chunk out of Russia. So was Belarus. They were also released. They also get a big chunk out of Russia. All three of these Baltic countries were released. Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. And this most southern one, I'm pretty sure it's Lithuania. They got Kaliningrad. Yeah. Finland, they got this entire big peninsula. They got all this. They also have this now, and they have St. Petersburg. Over here, we have this new country right here. I don't know what it's called. You guys can make up a name. There's also this new country right here, and Mongolia got a bit of land out of Russia. Basically, a lot of things happened. Like, for example, these guys, they weren't in the war. Finland wasn't in the war, but they got land anyway because they're just trying to do all the stuff they can to, make sure the Soviets can never come back, and that Russia, the, powerhouse where the capital was, is weak. Speaking of them being weak, they lost all of Siberia and Montenegro, I'm pretty sure, and they lost this little island right here. Would they give that over to Japan at this point? I'm going to say no. This island is this country's, and then this country also exists. They're mainly down here. This Siberia part is just to make Russia look smaller. Yeah, that's about it for the treaties. Oh, right. Russia got a government change. That's it. Yeah, but all of these guys are set up, left-leaning, NATO-leaning, America-leaning, and then Russia was definitely set up very, very well to make sure that they never go back to what they used to be just a little bit ago. So yeah, but that is the video. I hope you guys liked it. Daily upload week is coming to an end tomorrow, so make sure to tune in for What If Civilization Started Over episode 10, the first episode of the medieval era. It is the craziest episode that I've had yet. I know last episode was definitely crazy. Go make sure to watch that. But episode 10 is also a very, very crazy episode. It's like the most packed. I've never had this many things happen inside of one episode, I don't think. But the medieval era is starting up, so make sure to check that out. But this is the second to last day of daily upload week. If you want me to play Age of History 3, or I also have Dummy Nation, or Doodle Empires, if you want me to play that on Wednesday for instead of a what if scenario, let me know. I can also do another what if scenario. I was thinking maybe what if Russia became an empire or something like that. We might do that. Yeah, I don't know. But I hope you guys like this video. If you have any complaints, questions, comments, use the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, see ya.